What's up, everybody? This is your man, DJ Square, now from the DJ Information Group. And hey, let me tell you guys something. We got history in the house, we got a legend in the house, we got the man who started it all. Now, you guys may be wondering, what did he start? What was it that brought us to where we are? He is the one that brought the visuals to light. And he did that way back when. We'll talk about that year, but who am I talking about? None other than DJ Ralph McDaniels. Welcome, welcome,
Thanks for
welcome.
having
Man, it's truly a pleasure to have you, man. And like I said, we're going to have this conversation. We're going to talk, and we just want everyone to know who you are. You know, a lot of us here, we know, but for those being that, this is a recording or whatever, you're going to find those, some of the younger DJs, because the group is comprised of DJs that may have started a year ago, all the way up to the DJs that surpassed me. And I've been in 37 years.
you.
So, as far as, DJs who have, 40 years, they may know you, but we want to make sure that we have something, have a tool, have a lesson for the younger DJs. And then there's a lot of stuff that we may not know that
Yeah,
you can drop on us and just to kind of enlighten us on a few things. So
yes.
for sure. So with that being said, tell us who DJ Ralph McDaniel is.
Wow. Um, well, I'm gonna take it back because there's a lot of DJs in the room.
Yeah.
I started DJing in like 74, 73. We used to do like anywhere we could play. We didn't have two turntables, we had two mixed turntables. I had one set up, my man had one set up, and we put them together and we got some speakers, and we usually blew those speakers out every time we played because we were playing way too loud than they should have been played. But I started back in those days, and I was, like you said, DJ Ralph McDaniels. In 1983, after DJing for, in clubs and, doing the whole park jam thing and, knowing how to set up sound systems and all that kind of stuff. I'm a sound system guy. So I go back to, before powered amps and powered speakers and all of that stuff, I go back to the days of the, Serwin Vegas and, and
Mhm.
all of those type of amplifiers and plugging in, and, real good quality sound was always important to me because that's what I heard before me. But anyway, I get to 1983, I graduated from college. I started working at this small TV station, and I started this show called Video Music Box in 1983, which is 37 years now that I've been doing that. And that became, what changed my life and what people know me for.
Yes, yes. So when a lot of us older DJs, we get to talking and going back and like I used to tell them, at the age of 12 I was out there humping crates. And and back then we didn't, it wasn't like we had initially called it hip hop. We were calling them jams.
They were just jams,
So
yeah.
yeah, they were just jams. So um when you were out doing these jams, what was that like for you? The first time you really hit the street, hit the park, and was jamming.
I loved it. I was a lover of music from a little kid. So now to have that music amplified on a sound system, I mean, back in the days, we didn't have, a lot of speakers, but it was, louder than was in my house, that's for sure.
Mhm.
And so, and to be able to move a crowd by a certain type of record that we played, um, and then eventually with technology, like when I tell people, when I first started DJing, there was no mixer, there was no crossfade and none of that like that. You had to know the music, and when crossfades and technology kind of came into play, and you had Clubman mixers and what's the other one we used to have? Oh man, I can't remember the names right now. But all of these different mixers that made the ability to blend music a lot easier.
Mhm.
And that's where I come from, the era of blending records together, and then the hip hop DJ started to come into play. And the guy that grew up in my neighborhood at the time that was really good at it was Davey DMX.
Mhm.
and Davey DMX made a record, one for the treble. You know, that Dave cut the record down to the bone, and now he got Mike. You know, he Run DMC talked about him. He's the guy who showed Jam Master Jay, you know, what to do, you know, how to make beats and all of that kind of stuff, you know. And he was like the go-to guy for Russell Simmons, who was also in my neighborhood. Russell was a promoter, and Russell gave parties. So Russell would come under Rush Productions and go, hey, you know, I'm having a jam. And I played more at the, I created my own parties. And then I got a job working in this lounge in my area, which was like a club. So, you know, that was more of an older crowd. And so they wore, you know, they got dressed up and stuff on Friday and Saturday and went to the lounge. And there's where I really got a name, because it was jam-packed every Friday and Saturday, and people wanted to be like, you know, everybody was coming there, you know. Like I tell people, you know, all like that's when I first got promo records, like the 12 inches with you know, with the white labels. And because you know, all these record company people would come all the way out to Queens, where I was at the time, and bring me records, you know, for me to play them, you know. And I started getting gigs in Manhattan, and I'm from Brooklyn, so I could easily go back to Brooklyn and do gigs as well. So I was doing gigs in Queens and in Brooklyn, and going back and forth in these areas, and you know, trying to make a name for myself. You know, I had given up the days of plugging into lampposts and doing that kind of setup, and was more into installations that were in clubs, and how could we make that better. And we judged a lot of what we did based on this place that was legendary called the Paradise Garage, which was like one of the most incredible sound systems I'd ever heard, you know. And I remember, you know, me and Russell going there one night, and Russell had, this is when Christmas Rapping by Curtis Blow came out, and Russell had a copy of Christmas Rapping because he was Curtis Blow's manager. And they never played rap music in the garage. They played like house music. Well, it wasn't even house music. It was just danceable R&B records, you know, and Love Is the Message and stuff like that. And Russell went up to the DJ booth, and I wanted to see the DJ booth because the sound system was so incredible. I just wanted to see the setup, you know, how they had the turntable set up, how they had all the amps. He had the crossovers and all of that kind of stuff. I wanted to see the setup in there. So I went with him. So I'm looking around at the turntables and the setup and how they got everything. And the DJ was like, yo, is this rap to Russell? And so Russell was like, yeah. And the DJ threw it and it smashed against the wall. He's like, I don't play no rap in here, man. We don't play that. Now, mind you, this is Curtis Blow, Christmas Rapping. It's a hot song at the time everywhere in the hood, you know. And I'm like, I didn't even really care. I just wanted to see the DJ booth really at that point. But I felt bad for Russell. And then we left. And then a week later, for people that know New York, there was a DJ on the radio, Frankie Crocker. And Frankie Crocker played Christmas Rapping. It was right before Christmas, a week before. He played Christmas Rapping on the radio, and everybody in the city knew what Christmas Rapping was after that. And then I went to the garage the next week after that, and he played Christmas Rapping about 5 times in the garage. And I was like, damn, it's the same record that he threw against the wall 2 weeks ago. I was like, damn, son. And so, you know, Russell was like, I told that motherfucker, I told him, fucking fronting on me, man.
Yeah.
But you know, that was, you know, it was tough for hip hop to get played in a lot of places, you know, so you had to create your own space. And that's why hip hop has always been kind of its own thing, you know. It's always been like, you know, we'll do it ourselves. We'll have our own jams. We got our own way of dressing. We got our own way of, you know, playing records, you know, whatever it is. That's why breakbeats came about. You know, when the first time I got breakbeats, you know, like I had some of these records, but I didn't really know how to play them. I had to listen to DJs in the Bronx play them. They go, well, why would you pick it at that point? You know, oh, this is where you're supposed to drop that beat in. Oh, this is okay. Now I understand. You know, sometimes you just buy records because you know it's a hot song, but you know how to play it. But the DJs in the Bronx were the ones that were mastering how to play those type of records, you know, and play those break beats. And you know, and I wouldn't play a lot of break beats in my set, but I would incorporate the ones that I could play, you know, for my crowd.
Cool beans. So you got into DJing, you did that, you really worked that scene pretty well, and then You get to 1983,
Yes,
like
sir.
you mentioned before, and then you say, you know what, it's time. And then this beautiful thing happens.
Yeah.
Video music box. What was the engine behind that? What was that turning point that said, you know what, I got to create this platform. I got to put this platform out there, because it needs to be.
Yeah, it was the same energy that I had coming from DJing in clubs, from coming from the park. I wanted to have a TV show that I could take the videos and kind of blend them or curate them in some way that it felt like you was in a jam, or you was at a party or somewhere where I was DJing at. So, very often, we would play, I would be, clocking the beats per minute in my head of the videos. And no, play this behind this, play this behind this. This gonna keep the same energy for the next 10 minutes. Then we could slow it down with a slow jam. Then we could bring it back up. Then we could play some red. I was doing it like I was DJing at a party.
Mm,
And so when I came up with the idea, it didn't exist, and people were like, well, what is this? And the station manager, I worked at the station as an engineer. Like I always was into technology and engineer and wires and hooking stuff up, create building speakers and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, all right, let me figure out how I can, make this all happen. And I started working at the station. I said, one day these videos came in and it was like the Whispers and Shalimar and like 80s R&B songs.
mhm.
And I was like, man, they performing these videos. It wasn't really a music video. It was like they were just on a stage. And I was like, what is this for? And they were like, we don't know. It basically was to promote the artist. And I
Right.
said, we should make a show out of this and put it on TV because my people on my block would want to see this.
Mhm.
And so I put it together. My friend was an editor. He put it all together. And like I talked behind it. Like you didn't see me, you just heard my voice.
Right.
And it didn't have a name. There was no name to the show or nothing. I just talked about the artist. And we gave it to the program director. He didn't get it. He was like, I don't understand. Why would people watch this? And so then one day we had a fundraiser, like they have fundraisers on PBS. And we were a PBS station. And they had a fundraiser. And the guy said, well, I'm going to use those videos to play on on the fundraiser. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even think they paid me no mind. So when he said that, I was like, oh, good, no problem. So I gave him the videos and he played the videos. And then he came back like 2 hours later and was like, man, the phones start ringing like crazy when we play those videos. People are donating money. So I knew I did something good.
Mhm.
And so I was like, good, good, good. So I wasn't even thinking about the show at that point. I was like, well, the videos did something. I had an idea. I knew it would work. So I'm like, let me keep on moving. About 2 months later, this guy came up and he had my tapes. I thought he was coming to give them back to me. And he was like, nah, I'm going to do a show. So I was like, what do you mean you're going to do a show? So he was like, I'm doing a video. So I was like, bro, those are my tapes and that's my idea. What are you talking about? And so I said, nah, dude. So, I already worked there. I'm an engineer. So I'm like, well, I got to be the voice of it. So
Mm.
he did this show. It was called Studio 31 Dance Party. This is before Video Music Box.
Mhm.
And he wanted to, program it the way he wanted to program. And it was like, and I was like, nah, don't play that. Don't play this. Don't play. I was fighting it the whole way because I just knew I'm a DJ. I know how people listen to music.
Right.
And and so one day he was like, I don't want to do this no more. You do it yourself. I was like, perfect. That's what was supposed to happen from the beginning. I don't know where you came from. So they said, well, what do you want to call it? I said, I want to call it Video Music Box. And they were like, well, what do you mean? I said, it's like a boom box, but we play videos. And so everybody was like, okay, when can you do it? I said, I could do it on Thursdays, but can you do it every day? I said, yeah. And I only had like 10 videos. So we'd have been playing the same things over and over again. So right after they said that, I ran to every record company that I knew because I've been getting music on vinyl from these record companies. And I started asking them, yo, do y'all have videos? And yeah, we have them, but we don't really use them to play for, can't use them for anything. I said, well, can I get it? I just wanted it. And once I got it, I played it on my show, they were like, well, that wasn't really what it was for. It was for you to just look at. But being that you playing it, okay, fine. And people went along with it. And we started playing these videos. And by word of mouth, it became something. People started talking about it. And it was on a small channel, low power, channel 31. You had to fix your antenna the right way to get it.
Hmm.
And by word of mouth, it became the place to be.
Yeah. So just so that people understand, and that's why I said that you were the first, because Yo MTV Raps didn't come out for 5 years later. It was like 1988 or something like that that they hit the scene.
Yeah,
Uh,
came out in 87.
80, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we started 83. There was a show that came on before me, and that's what really helped sell my show because I was talking about doing it, but nobody was getting it.
Hmm.
And then the show came on in New York called New York Hot Tracks.
Yes, New York Hot Tracks.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's it. That's what I want to do right there.
Hmm.
And so I made a VHS copy of New York Hot Tracks. I went to the program director. I said, yo, ABC just put on this new show. This is what I've been talking about. And he looked at it and he was like, oh, okay. So it was almost like, people need to see it first before they get it. And so once he saw what I showed him from New York Hot Tracks, and he was like, okay. And 2 months later, we was on.
So, in the case with the videos, of course, hip hop was still in its infant stages at
Yes.
that point. So it was growing. So, of course, you didn't have a lot of videos there. But one thing I recall with Video Music Box is that you also played R&B because there was a big category, big portfolio of R&B. But then you also played rock.
Yeah.
So and some of the rock that you played, and people, I know some people are like, what is he playing or whatever, but you showed that your show was very diverse in that sense at that period in time.
Yeah.
um and I don't know if some people understood it, but I'm quite sure you had some feedback from it. So
Yeah.
what was being said at that time?
Nah, people loved it, because I played like to me songs that felt like some hip hop shit. Like I played Tears for Fears Shout,
Mhm.
and John Big Beat, like records that were kind of reminded me of break beats in a way
Right.
sometimes, or they were like real super popular, like Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA, all of them type of songs. People be like, yeah, Bruce Springsteen, he's hard. Yeah, we like that. Yeah, and then we played reggae. We played Bob Marley. Even that was like a big deal because nobody was really playing, reggae like that. Bob
Right.
Marley was Bob Marley, but like to see it in a mix of that kind of situation, that was different. The early hip hop stuff was, like most hip hop artists didn't have a video, because hip hop was new. And
Hmm.
so you didn't get a budget to make a video. You got the record go out, but to see a video was pretty rare in the early 80s. So hip hop was just starting to get, its legs. And it wasn't until like Run DMC comes about and they become popular that you really start to people go, oh, okay, we got to make videos for everything now. The major labels start investing more in hip hop. And but before that, it was just, it wasn't a lot of visuals for artists, So we needed to fill up that time. you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. And then there was an artist that kind of shocked you a little bit. John Bon Jovi.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I never really played Bon Jovi on my show,
Right.
but I was at a party, me and my man Black John. So Black John is a weed head, right? He smoked weed all the time. So he high all the time. So I'm like, he comes, he says, yo, John Bon Jovi want to talk to you, man. I'm like, right. So, it was a show, it was House of Pain. So this was around the time when House of Pain came out.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I was like, all right. And it was mad smoky. And he's like, nah, I'm serious, man. He's over here. I'm just was kicking it with him. So I walk and come through the smoke and bang. All I see is his blonde hair and it's John Bon Jovi. And I'm like, this like, oh shit. So I said, yo, what's up, man? He's like, Ralph McDaniels, man, it's a pleasure, man. I watch you on TV. I was like, yo, I thought he was messing with me. He said, nah, man, I really watch you. I'm from New Jersey, man. I watch Video Music Box all the time. I was like this, like, get out. So you never know who's watching and who's listening. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, man. I can imagine. I can imagine what that felt like, man. Just knowing that you had not only the hip hop people, but you had everyone pretty much at that point that was out there that really was attracted to it. They gravitated to the show, and it grew, and because I knew I couldn't help myself but to watch it when I was coming up. That was one of the deals. My mom would tell me some, especially like when it was like late at night, they'd have a version that would come on late at night.
Yeah.
She'd be like, you need to take your behind to bed. And I'd be like, come on, let me just watch this. So, but yeah, I remember those days.
You
So,
know, for younger people, watching videos was like a thing.
hmm
Like, let's all sit and watch videos, you
hmm
know, and you did it for a period of time, it lasted for a while, because that was, like Michael Jackson made music videos an event, you know, and so then the networks picked up on that and said, okay, we could do the same thing. We might not have a Michael Jackson, but maybe we got the new, Run DMC, or we got the new whatever, Salt and Pepper, or the new Rock Eric B and Rakim, or the new Nas. So they started doing that world premiere at this particular date on this particular time, and everybody would tune in and watch the new video, and then you go to school the next day and say, yo, you saw the new Nas joint, so that's how it became. It was like, like now kids are into video games, but back then it was you watched videos, you watched music videos.
yeah, yeah. Cause I remember, I was in high school, but I was doing so much. My mom was like, you don't never rest. You're always on the go. Take it behind the bed. And I'd be like, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this first. And then next thing you know, I'm going to the Navy. So, but then of course, when we out at sea, we out there, we getting the recordings,
Yeah,
and look who we watching.
yeah.
So most definitely. So the other thing that I want to make sure that I brought up is that let's move forward to Roxanne Shantae's movie,
Mhm.
because you directed that, correct?
I'm one of the producers on it.
One of the producers on it.
Yeah.
So tell me what that was like, because that movie was very informative. It had a lot of information and it really, really dug into who she was and her rise and everything. So I know that took a lot of time. So what was that whole process like?
Well, the executive producer on that was Mimi Valdez and Pharrell. And Mimi is a New York girl, grew up in Midtown Manhattan. She loved hip hop. I used to see her before she got into the film business. I used to see her on the scene at the parties. She became the editor of Vibe magazine. She's a writer. She was very, very good at working deals. And, so I watched it literally go from the club to the executive board, and and she reached out to me and said, Ralph, what do you think about a movie about Roxanne Shante? And I said, yo, that would be crazy. That would be dope. That Shantae's my girl. I still see her all the time. And she says, well, I have a script that we're working on and I want to bring you on because the first time I ever heard of Roxanne Shante was because of you on Video Music Box. Now, me and my partner Lionel did that video for Roxanne Shante. We produced it, and I produced it. Lionel directed it, and that was like our first hip hop video that we ever did.
Mm.
Um, and so I was like, yeah, I'd be honored to be involved. So they brought me on, we worked on things, little logistics, like I mentioned earlier, like what equipment were they using back then? What equipment would Marley Marl be scratching on? What speakers, all the little details that go into putting a set together. What would people be wearing at that particular time? Um, and and we shot it in 30 days.
Mm.
We shot it during
Wow.
the 30 days, and it was immediately um picked up by all of the film festivals. Sundance Film Festival, I went out there and that was my first time going to Sundance Film Festival, and it did really well. And Nia Long, who's in it, of course, is a big deal. So Nia Long came and hung out, and then it got picked up by Netflix, and it was the second most watched movie by Netflix in 2018. So it did really well. Shantae's, working now on Sirius, so it worked out for her.
Mhm.
And but for me, the process, like I knew Shantae, pretty well, but I didn't even know the details of Shantae's life like that. Because Shantae was like 16 years old when we shot Roxanne Revenge.
Mhm.
And but she always had like an old soul because she hung out with older cats.
Right.
She, that girl, after school, her man had a car and pulled up, and, and she was that type of girl. And so, so she was just hanging out with, just older people, and her lifestyle was a little bit more faster than ours. And but to this day, Roxanne is one of those girls that, or Shantae, I should say, is one of those girls that, like, or one of those people that when I'm kind of stuck on something, I don't know what to do. I'll call her and she'll just break it down. Like, look, you making it too complicated, Ralph. Do it like this, and I'll be like, all right, you're right. That's why I called you. And so that's my girl. That's my heart. She's a good lady.
Cool beans, cool beans. So, of course, you and your partner, outside of directing Roxanne Shantae's joint Roxanne's Revenge,
Mhm.
you guys are responsible for directing several other videos. So, share some of those artists that you directed their videos.
Yeah, we did over 400 music videos. So we did
What were the most prominent ones that you saw that really skyrocketed and got a lot of attention?
TLC, the whole first album. We did all those videos. Um, Boys to Men, whole first album. SWV, the whole first album. Bell Biv DeVoe, whole album. Um, Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown, um, Gangstar,
Wow.
Wu Tang,
Hmm.
Nas, um, Tony Braxton. Um,
Well, it looked like everyone that y'all put out it
yeah,
was good. You just tops. That's beautiful, man.
yeah.
That
No,
is,
we did a lot. We did a lot of videos. And my partner Lionel, who was the vid kid on Video Music Box,
mhm.
he's really underrated, and he doesn't his name doesn't come up in a lot of conversations now because this was before they would put your name on the credits on TV when they would say, directed by this person. And so a lot of times, like stuff that I did that I directed, like Wu Tang Cream and Nas, It Ain't Hard to Tell, and Black Moon, Who Got the Props, and a bunch of those kind of like game changing hip hop underground joints. My name wasn't on it, so people didn't know. It wasn't until later, and we had a kid that worked with me. He was my intern. Was Hype Williams,
Mm,
and we brought Hype in the game. And when Hype got in, that's when directors started getting recognition. Their names were on the thing, on either in the video or or when it played on MTV or BET, their name was there. And so we feel like Hype was the next level of us.
mm.
He really took it to a whole nother level with the stuff that he did for Missy and Buster, and just some incredible visuals that changed the game. And eventually, he went into Kanye and Rihanna and all that kind of stuff.
Cool beans, cool beans. Well, I could sit here and continue to talk to you forever because, man, I'm just really enjoying it, and I know the rest of the panel is really enjoying it. But I better turn it over before I start getting some faces. So, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, you got a whole bunch of us here who I know a lot of us would like to ask you some questions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start introducing the different DJs and guests, and allow them to, ask you at least one question, and then from that just keep it moving, being that we have so many. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off with the primary admin of the group, the founder, and that's DJ Rod Flash.
All right.
Salute.
What's up, Rod?
What's going on? I mean, salute to everything you done and what you created and what you invented. But I got a question. It's
Oh,
not even a question. It's something that I've been catching a lot of your interviews.
yeah.
Can you explain to them what's going on with Video Music Box as of now?
Oh, okay. So yeah, we air here in New York um on Thursday nights and on Saturday nights, late night. Um and it's basically the same format. We play, some new stuff. Um and we play some old stuff that people haven't seen in years because there's not a lot of places on TV anyway to watch that. Um, so, and we do, the club thing. Well, we don't do the club thing now, but we do some events that we go out and tape. That was a big part of Video Music Box, as you know, is that the clubs that we went to and the shout outs. We started the shout outs. Shout outs didn't exist before we started doing it and took it to a whole nother level. Like people were like, they didn't even care about me. They just wanted to shout out. They just wanted to do a shout out on my show. So shout outs became a big deal, to the point where I hear everybody say, I want to give a shout out. And that came from me saying that. That's hip hop. That was a hip hop thing. I made it like a big deal. And so yeah, we still do that. Um, we still continue to do stuff in the community because my thing was always edutainment, educate and entertain. I think it's important if you have a mic, you can get some information across, not saying preach to somebody, but use your platform to educate people. That's always been part of my programming, you know, from like videos that we did, like we did Stop the Violence Movement, Self-Destruction, you know, that right there was like a big video, and we did that video, but we were already, preaching that kind of vibe, before we even got to that, the Public Enemy stuff and X Clan and groups like that. So yeah, so we've always been there. And on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I do Instagram Live, a Video Music Box Instagram Live. So if you follow me at Video Music Box, I just do a live DJ mix. Yeah.
Mm.
And what about Video Music Box? I think it's .org.
Yes, the collection. So Video Music Box Collection.org is something that we started this year. We have over like 20,000 hours of content that we need to digitize and needs to be preserved so that 100 years from now, people can watch it and it'll still be around after I'm gone. And so we started a nonprofit organization that people can donate to help us in getting all that done, because it would take me forever if I don't have some help doing it. I'll be dead by the time I finish doing as much tapes as I have. So I was like, look, let's get some help. Let's reach out to people and you can donate whatever it is. I know we're in a pandemic. Some people don't have jobs or whatever, but whatever people can donate to Video Music Box Collection.org, please help us out in getting all that done. And some of the stuff we've been finding, because some of these tapes I haven't looked at in years, some of the early 80s stuff, some of the 90s stuff with like Nas and Biggie, is just, for learning purposes, it's incredible, just to see them from the beginning.
Thanks.
Cool beans, and that's really good to know. Especially I didn't know about the video box collection, music box collection. So that's a
Yeah.
very good thing to know for sure. Um, so I will definitely check into that. And I'm quite sure everyone here will definitely read up on that, and where can be some help.
Yes.
Quite sure some people will step up to that for sure.
Yeah, it's on we on Instagram as well, at Video Music Box Collection. Um and so we have an Instagram page, and then the website is videomusicboxcollection.org.
Cool beans. All right. Our next DJ, we're gonna call in DJ Big Body. What's up, BB? What's going on?
Hi,
Hey, what's up?
how are you?
I'm good. We did it. Victory. We connected.
Yeah, yes, we did. So I would like to say, on behalf of the DJ Information Group, thank you for accepting the invitation to come.
No problem, no problem. I get a lot of invitations to do things, and sometimes, like I'm like, oh man, I don't feel like doing it today. But sometimes it's in the words and the way people ask, and the way you asked, I was like, yeah, I gotta do it. I don't know. You gonna do it? Do it.
Cool,
I
man.
do have one question. Who are your influences? As far as DJing.
As far as DJing, when I was a kid, I used to I saw Grandmaster Flowers DJ. He was from Brooklyn.
Yes. Yep.
And I saw Grandmaster Flowers in Reese Beach. I was a kid. Me and my uncle. My uncle took us to Reese Beach. They used to have basketball tournaments, and then they have the DJ playing the music. And I walked over and I saw all these speakers and I saw all these crates with records and the turntables and the equipment. And this dude was playing music and people were going crazy. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. Whatever he's doing, I want to do that. I could never, I can see that it's clear as day to this day. That setup that he had. And, and that's all. And once I started doing it, I was like, yo, it's Grandmaster Flowers, and he just presented the music in an incredible way, and and just made people feel good by playing music, and I was like, I like that. I could do that. I think I could do that.
Right. I'm actually looking for a full documentary on DJ Flowers because DJ Grandmaster Flowers, because it's not a lot out there about him.
No.
Not at all. It's basically memory based. If
Yep.
you were there, then you were there. If you
Yeah.
weren't there, then you weren't there.
There's a couple of clips on YouTube of him talking, um, but he was Brooklyn, in that early '70s. He was Brooklyn all day, and he just had he introduced all types of sounds, and I think that's where I get my diversity in playing certain music. Like I never liked to play one type of music. So, like you might play some African beats and then jump into something else. He'd jump all over the place, but it worked. So
Right.
I always like that about playing music because like my friends would be like play strictly R&B records. I can't play R&B records for the rest of my life. I can't just play R&B. If I do that. So I would always want to mix it up with all types of sound.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Good to meet you.
Cool.
You as well.
All right. So the next DJ we have, DJ Silent Professor. What's up, my man?
Good evening to you, sir.
Peace. What's up, brother?
Nothing much. I'm just enjoying the history lesson, brother.
Thanks.
And it is, it's no small feat where you are today because you put in the work. So I salute you for putting it in and keeping it going. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's funny because I was talking to Kid Capri one night, and he was like, "Look, man, we done put our lives on the line enough times by being in these clubs, man. Like we did our time already." Because he's right, man. I've been in shootouts and all kind of stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, you right about that."
Sir.
All right. So our next DJ, DJ Lisa Love.
Peace, brother. How are you?
Peace. What's up, Lisa? How are you?
I'm good. Listen, it's a pleasure to meet you today, and I was always a viewer of the video music box on TV, like every time it was on, and it's a blessing to see you still relevant and still doing your thing, and thank you for doing what you did because you paved ways for all of us DJs, and and the video music scene. You know what I mean? You were first to do it, so salute to you, brother, and keep on doing your thing. And I'm so glad to see you and see you healthy and you good, man. Blessings and peace.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Peace and love to you. And, continue to keep on doing what you're doing. The music makes people feel good. So it makes me feel good too. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool beans. So then we have DJ Mike L. What's up, my man?
Hey man, what's good? What's good?
What's up, Mike?
It's a pleasure, man. Hey, my question is, I might have a couple.
Nah.
Well, not don't cut me off. But look, for real. Like if I wanted to get in, if I want to be a VJ right now, like what advice would you give me?
Yeah, I would do it. Anytime you present music in any kind of way, it's good because people want it. There are people out there that are looking for all. I mean, we know like commercial radio, they don't play a lot of music that's great. They play
Right,
popular, the hot music or whatever they build up to make great. But there's so much other music that's out there that needs to get airplay, and that's what I can do on my show, my TV show is, I can play stuff from, Afrobeat stuff, or I could play stuff from Brazil, or I could play something from the UK that's not playing here at all, and introduce it to my audience and catch a vibe. So videos nowadays, everybody does a video. Not like back in the days, everybody didn't do a video, but nowadays most of these artists have a video, and you can play it, and create a vibe, like look, like when the pandemic started, when COVID started, I was watching D Nice, and I said, like I know D Nice from D Nice, like D
right,
Funk, and I was like, wait a minute, I think I can do what I do with the videos on my Instagram live, and I started doing it. And people were like, "How are you doing this?" I rigged up some way of doing it. You know how we do. We figure it out.
right,
And
right,
I started doing it on Instagram, and it was getting cut off every once in a while. So I was like, "Yo, I gotta figure out how to get around this." So my man told me, "Well, you should get certified. You should get that blue check on it because that'll help you with playing music." And
right,
I was like, "He said, you definitely could be certified." I never paid no mind to being certified. So I got the certification. Then I noticed they wasn't cutting me off no more. Now they still
wow.
back to it again. No, they back to cutting people off again.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
But that was like a whole new thing because people were home. Everybody was home. They had nothing to do. So people were that I hadn't seen in years, that hadn't seen me, that didn't know that I was still around doing what I was doing, all of a sudden checked back in with Video Music Box because of that Instagram Live, and still are. And so now, Kid Capri comes on my live, and who else was on there last week? Lord Tariq and Peter Guns
oh wow,
and Fat Joe, and all these people get on my live, and that's like, I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. So it's the technology still allows you to do it. We're DJs, we're creative, we figure out ways to get it out there, and so yeah, I would do it. I would do it. For me, there's, I'm not sure what kind of music you play or what kind of music you want to promote, but whatever it is good music. People will come to it.
right, right, and being who you are, like, would you do DJ drops for DJs?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you need
Okay,
to. Yeah.
okay. Well, then I'll yield back to Square Knot, and he can take care of that part.
Okay. Awesome.
I appreciate you.
All right, bro. Thank you.
All right. So we got DJ Swerve. I think DJ Swerve, actually, he's still here. He's still at work, but he'll be heading out here shortly. So I'm getting ready to call him up. DJ Swerve, what's up?
Rob, what up?
What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
I can't complain.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah. 'Cause I said DJ Swerve. I said I know that name.
Sure. Now I ain't I had you on my radio show and all that. How nephew doing?
Ooh, which one?
Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah.
He good. Yeah.
Tell him I said what's up. Yeah, I'm about to be out, so I just want to show love.
Yeah.
I see you. Yo, was you still doing Taj? Or no?
Nah, they didn't. They not doing that no more.
No.
We ain't doing nothing no more right now. But so we gotta wait. Hopefully 2021 something will start opening back up again.
Yeah. Well, I'll be seeing you out there, man.
All right, bro. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right. Our next DJ is coming out of Baltimore.
More.
DJ Joe Storm.
What up, Joe?
Salute, Ralph. How you doing, brother?
I like that background.
Hey, man. Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. We never had. I wasn't able to see the channel because we was in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But people that was bringing videotapes back and forward, they taped it, so I got a chance to see different things.
Yeah.
Especially that Fresh Fest.
Oh, Fresh Fest. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first hip hop concert that we taped. In fact, that was the first like that big hip hop concert that I ever went to that existed, and that was a game changer right there. That because of Run DMC, Houdini, Fat Boys, Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5, LL. That was LL was like an opening act. He just had like I need a beat. That's all he had.
Yeah, and a young Jermaine Dupri up in there.
Oh, word, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Jermaine said, "Yo, Ralph, stop showing that footage of me as a little kid. I know you."
Man, only thing I gotta say is, man, I thank you for paving the way, because the thing about it is a lot of people, especially young people, think that Yo MTV Raps was like the first. Nah, it was not the first.
Yeah.
And I tell people that from time to time. I mean, Yo MTV Raps was dope, groundbreaking, but you broke the ice.
Yeah, no, go. I tell people, Yo was important for the culture.
Yeah.
Because it had to happen because it was too much. There was the hip hop was blowing up, man. It had to go on MTV because y'all can't be playing this rock and roll and nobody's watching it. So y'all got it, and that's also when the money game changed. Now the money was being made. So by the time it got to the early '90s, hip hop was a cash cow. It was big money.
Yeah. Last question. You not connected in no way to the as I'll be saying, like I used to see something back in the day called The Box.
Oh yeah. Nah, but that's not us. That's another one of them that bit out idea.
Man, because I looked at that. I remember seeing that back in the day, and I'm like, that ain't them. That ain't him.
Yeah,
totally different.
Yeah, The Box was based out of Miami. That's
okay.
They broke a lot of that Miami bass music because they Miami, and but they took they used to call us The Box. Like that was like the street. Yo, if people wouldn't say, yo, I'm going home to watch Video Music Box, they would go, I'm going home to watch The Box.
Right.
They ran with that part. We didn't have that name. We didn't have that name copyrighted. That was just the slang. And they ran with that and called it The Box. And we were like, oh, really? Wow. We were going to sue them, but before we could do it, they were shut down because they were like, it was a great idea. Like you pay some $2 or $1 and you could see a video. But what happened was the record companies took over it. So they would pay you, here's $1,000, just sit and ask for the same song over and over again. So the record companies jammed up the whole system. And
wow. Well, you gotta get it from the Godfathers. You the Godfather, so
Sir.
So man, thank you so much, man, for what you've done for hip hop.
Nah, no problem, man. The other night I was playing on my live, and this is a DC record, DJ Flex, The Water Dance. And everybody got in their feel. They was like, yo, I feel like I'm in college right now. Yo, this is a college jam, right? But that was a big tune. I played that when it first came out, when Flex put that out, so we touch on, that vibe. My father used to live in Baltimore, so I used to be in Baltimore all the time.
Okay.
So I would come down there, and listen to the radio and see what people was playing, what song we missing out on.
I can dig it, man. I can dig
it.
Yeah. So thank you, sir. That's all I gotta say, man. Thank you.
Salute.
All right. So the next DJ. She's like one of the OGs from way back in the day. DJ Baby D of the Mercedes Ladies.
Oh wow. Okay. What's up, baby D?
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good.
I met you a long time ago. I was like, wow, I gotta be here. You know, every time you come on and you do interviews, I am like right there. The one you did with Chirac, and you know, when you guys stopped, I went right out and bought my video box shirt.
Oh wow. Thank you.
Yes, I did. So I was walking around the PX, and this one Marine came up to me. He was an older cat, and he was, I remember that. Are they coming back out? And I was like, oh God, why don't I have the information on me? But I told him, Google, they're there. And he was like ecstatic. And I mean, he had to be like a master gunnery sergeant. So he was up there in age. So he remember
Wow.
all of us. So I was like, that is nice. But my question to you is, where do you see hip hop in 10 years?
I think it's going to evolve. You know, beats are what they are. There's this, you know, this trap and drill music now. It is what it is. You know, it's for a younger generation of hip hop kids. You know, or kids that are into that type of music. I don't even know if it's hip hop kids, but it is what it is, and it'll evolve into different sounds and do something. I think it'll always be here because for the artists, for the rappers, it's a voice for them to express themselves like you did, you know, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, you know, so it's their voice now. You know, I wish they, you know, sometimes had a little bit more to say, but, you know, everything is abbreviated now. So kids say one or two things and they know what they're talking about. They don't need a whole verse to
Right.
point across. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, there are certain music that I listen to and I like. I probably more like it because of the sound of it. You know, the record sound. I'm not sure what they're saying sometimes. But, you know, I do pay attention to certain sounds and certain artists. So I try to be, you know, not up on everything, but, you know, at least I know that there are enough artists out here. There are enough J. Cole's. There are enough Kendrick Lamar's. You know, even Drake, you know, like, you know, he's been consistent, you know, as an artist that, you know, he's about to, you know, I was reading this thing, he's about to run out, his contract is about to run out. And he had the worst contract in the music business, you know, like he was signed to so many different people and his contract is about to run out and he will probably be the most paid person in the music business as soon as that contract.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So what is your advice to like the old cats that want to come back out? I was approached last week by one of the old musicians that Mercedes Ladies knew, and he was talking about getting the girls back together if they all want to do it, and in particular me and Sherry Share.
Yeah.
What would your advice to us be? Like, I was telling her, even though we're older and we're one of the few that started this game, I was like, you still have to keep in mind, you have to keep that ear for what they're doing now and then bring in our old style. And would that be a good marriage?
I think that you would use your old style and maybe put some beats on there that sonically sound like a little bit more like now. You know, and that's as a DJ, and you know, you DJ, you know how like in the late 80s, you know what the music sounded like. Then it got to, you know, the mid 80s, and I mean in the early 80s it sounded a certain way. Then the mid 80s it started to change. Then in the late 80s it started to change. Then in the 90s sonically the music was changing because of the beat machines and different producers were doing different things. So, you know, you can't make a trap record, you know, you can't use a trap beat, but, you know, I think there are DJs like SNS who do some cool stuff. I know Ron G has been doing some beats, you know, so guys that kind of been through different eras and understand it, you know, they're able to adapt the sounds to what's happening right now, and it fits in the mix of what the DJs are playing. Are you going to jump on a, you know, the top radio station in that city? No, that may not happen. But for nostalgia and the fact of getting out and doing the show, and people want to go to a show and they enjoy it. Look, I did my 25th anniversary at Central Park, and people went crazy. You know, I had 25 acts, you know, to bring out Starsky and Hollywood and Paz K and Nice and Smooth and, you know, Naughty by Nature. You know, like there's an audience for it. And all it has to be done is, and there's enough places and DJs that will play it. It's like soul. It's like soul music to me.
Right, right.
It's like I have certain, and probably everybody here has a certain DJ that they listen to that plays soul music, you know, and they enjoy it, you know, like, oh wow, about this joint. I gotta download this. You know?
Yeah.
And that's how, you know, classic hip hop is gonna be. I think that LL, what he's doing with Sirius, you know, he really wants to make the genre of classic hip hop a thing, you know. And so he that's what he's been saying. And you know, and that's why he has Shantae on there, and he's got, you know, other DJs that from that era, and some that are, you know, a little bit from the late 90s or 2000s. But there's a place for it. At the end of the day, as long as you're having fun, like I like in the beginning, right? I said I play music for the people, but really I get more out of it than I think they do. You know, as long as everybody's enjoying it. If it ain't fun and you ain't getting nothing out of it, then leave it alone.
Yeah, I understand that concept, because that's the way I was back then. So I'm getting back into the DJing too. It was like kind of a shocker when, you know, I got the phone call about what they wanted to do with Mercedes Ladies, and I was like, you know, I don't mind being on board with it, but I'm definitely coming back out with the DJing. You can't be the first female hip hop DJ and not do nothing now. So I'm gonna get out there.
Yeah, and put that music out there. You know, you open up the whole show, and you know, get your whatever 15 minutes in, and then let the girls come out. You know, whatever, however.
Yeah, that's what Sherry said. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
No problem. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Yes.
Cool beans. We have DJ Lionel in the place. And
all right,
let me get him. There you go, DJ Lionel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up, brother?
Not a whole lot, man.
All right.
Greetings. Man, respect to all you guys. You know, your music was around a little bit before I gained my senses, so I don't really have much comment on that. But one of my question I wanted to ask you was how did you maintain longevity? I see you're still at it, and I don't know if any of the other guys asked before.
Yeah. Nah, actually, nobody asked that question. I think for me, it's always being available, you know, like being humble and understanding that, you know, you have to make change sometimes, you know, like when I went to Hot 97, you know, like I wasn't really thinking about doing that. You know, it was like Funkmaster Flex was like, yo, we need to have you over here. And, you know, and I was hot, you know, on my own without that radio station, you know, and I was like, you know, I'm good, you know, I'm not really thinking about that. But by me going over there, it opened me up to a whole nother avenue of business, you know, and I learned a lot about the radio business that I didn't really know, because I did some college radio, but I really never did commercial radio. That's a whole nother ballgame. And so once I got over there, and I started doing that, then that opened me up to doing different gigs, you know, so it's making yourself available. You know, sometimes you might not want to do it. You know, sometimes people haven't, oh, they got a party going over here. Yeah, man, I'm tired, man. I don't feel like going over there. And then, you know what? Let me go. And then you go over there and you get that gig. You go, oh, wow. If I hadn't been to that party, I might not have got that gig. So making yourself available is a big deal sometimes. And, you know, do the best you can. You know, sometimes, you know, you can't do it, you know, and you got to balance your family and your, you know, your entertainment life too, you know, because, you know, like I remember when I got married, I was like, told my wife, I'm like, yo, I'm a DJ. Like, I ain't gonna be in the house all the time. You know, so don't be. And she used to be like, yeah, I know you said you were DJ, you ain't gonna be home all the time. I said, I told you that when we got married, right? So, and so, you know, but she know she understood, and she was patient with it, and I kept my life, my personal life and my entertainment life separate. You know, like people never even seen my wife half the time. They was like, well, I didn't even know you was married. I was like, yeah, because I don't like to mix it, you know, for me, you know, and that was the way I did what I did, and that kept me on point, you know, kept me in the mix. I didn't have to, you know, get into it or worry about. I didn't bring my career home. When I was home, I was home, you know. I was, you know, so all of those things, you know, I think myself and guys like me and Red Alert and and um Chuck Chill Out and my buddy DJ Ace, you know, a lot of us, you know, who was, you know, you spend a lot of times out there in them clubs, man, you know, and you got to balance out your life. So because the clubs could take you, you know, could take you down. You've seen DJs, you know, that they just fell off because it was just burnt out, you know. But you know, you just gotta take it how you can, and just make yourself available when you possible, and be humble. You know, that's it.
Yeah. So I'll ask you another one, and then I'll yield to the other fellas on here and ladies. Um, what is any advice you have for probably someone who is just getting into it, or they're probably 10, maybe 15 years in? You know, what are some advice, some guidelines you could give them, some wise words, uh, pitfalls, stuff they should avoid, and things they need to do more of, since you're like you've been there and done it, so you know what is required, and what is expected, or what they need to bring, you know, or what they need to keep doing, or improve on.
Yeah, I think the first thing is to stay on top of all the technology as best you can. You know, like I know dudes, they got all the brand new equipment. I'm like, how? What kind of job do you have? Like, what do you do? Like, where you buying all this equipment at? And you know, but you know, the best you can, stay up on top of the technology, and um, and look at what other people are doing, not just from a skill standpoint, but how they present music. You know, sometimes, you know, not the best DJs get the gigs because of the way they presented it, you know, and you can learn from that, you know. So learn from that, and you know, and just you know, be like, they have those conventions, you know, like the DJ conventions. They have one up here in Atlantic City, I know, in New Jersey, that's like once a year, and that's like you can learn a lot because you meet some of the big time, you know, either tour DJs or radio station DJs or club DJs or internet DJs, and everybody has their own different style of doing what they do, you know, because it's a different platform that you're presenting on. You know, DJ Scratch, and you know, and these turntablist DJs are a lot different from a club DJ who plays and people are dancing. You know, it's a different experience. You know, a DJ that's playing on the internet is playing at a different pace because people's um, attention span is maybe not as quick. You know, so all of these things are important to what space you're in, or you might be in all of those spaces. So you're playing on the radio, you're playing hit records because, you know, thousands of people are listening to you. You know, you're playing a mix show, you know, it's a different vibe. You know, you got to get those hits in and then get to the talk break and get to the commercial, you know, because that's what the program director wants you to do. Like, he don't care about the mix, like, just get to the damn commercial. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff that, you know, but you can learn from. Just, you know, there was a DJ I used to listen to as a young guy. I was already DJing, but this guy was like he was a perfect blender. Like, I was like, this dude never be nothing off beat, nothing. The perfect records, they all go together. And this guy's name was Ted Courier, and he didn't get no props or nothing, but he was just a solid DJ. You know, back in the day, he was just solid. Yeah.
Cool beans.
All right, man.
Our next DJ is DJ Miss Official. I don't know if she's driving right now. Let's give her a second to see if she's going to pop on. Okay. Let's move over to DJ Big Said. Okay. Circling on around to Thomas. We got someone here, Thomas Powell. Oh, you know what? Actually, let me make sure I got this right. DJ Miss Official, are you there? Unmute yourself. I forgot I had the mute. DJ Big Said. Unmute yourself. All right, there he is. You have anything?
I just like to say salute, man. You know, I'm driving right now, bro. So, you know,
Yeah.
just salute. Appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with everybody. You know, excuse my seatbelt in the back, but just gonna chime in and just in the background.
Thank you, bro. Careful.
Yeah, be careful, no doubt. And then we have Thomas Powell. Okay. So
Yeah,
now
well,
I'm sorry. Let's
yeah,
move over.
work.
Okay, and let's move over to Eric Washington.
Hey, DJ Squirrel. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man.
What's
you
up?
have a question for the legend?
No questions, just checking in. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. I'm just sitting back listening.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool beans.
Thank you, brother.
Cool beans. And DJ Rod Flash said he had another question. So he wanted to come in and ask that.
First and foremost, like I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to the information group. How did you feel about Urban Expressions with Shelly? And like just like your sister or I would say your baby.
Yeah. You from Philly?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Well, Shelly, I've been watching her from day one, to do her thing with the video shows, and she comes from the era of watching videos, and that show, Urban Expressions, was such a big deal in Philadelphia, like just how Video Music Box was in New York. So I always had respect, and we used to share ideas and share stuff. And so watching Shelly do what she's doing now, and and I told her, because she even asked me, should I continue to keep on doing this? And I was like, yeah, people know who you are. You'd be surprised. You're on TV. People will know who you are, and people will look forward to it, and continue to keep on doing it, because you're getting music out there, you're getting information out there that we don't have enough. We don't have enough Black media outlets. We need more Black media outlets. We need more Caribbean. We need more of everything, to get that music out there. So the more we have, and the more we have the ability to be independent, is great. So I love Shelly. She's doing great things. We're gonna do some more things soon too.
Thanks. That's it. I had to get that. I forgot that the first time.
Yes.
Cool beans. We had another DJ popping here, NYC DJ A.
Oh, word?
Yeah. You can unmute yourself?
What's going on? Yeah, how's everybody?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Ralph McDaniels on post, so I said let me just come on and see what's going on.
Okay, he's here if you have a question.
Hey Ralph, what's going on, man? Long time. Everything good? I can't hear him.
Yeah,
But I don't have no questions. I'm just just listening to what's going on.
Okay, I appreciate that.
No doubt, no doubt.
I don't hear anything, so I don't know if I'm missing something.
Yeah, I got you now. We got you back, Ralph.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because my thing is spinning around here. So
yeah, I think it'll just catch up here shortly. And then we had DJ I95 who just popped in. He hold on one second here. Let me get him pulled in. DJ I-95, you can unmute yourself.
All right. Salute. I'm a New Yorker, Harlem. That's where I'm from. Um, any interviews you have done, what is the one you can remember the most?
That's a good question. Well, I tell people the first interview I did was with the R&B artist, well, R&B / jazz artist, Patrice Rushen. So, you know, Patrice Rushen, you know, a lot of people sample her music and stuff. And, you know, like I was like, you know, I knew like a couple of her songs, but I didn't really know her like that. And I sat down and this lady was like super intelligent. She was like a professor when she talked. And I was like, yo, this lady's mad smart. I'm dumb right now. And so she intimidated me. I was like, yo, hold up, man. I gotta get my thing together, man. Like, you know, so I said to myself after that interview, I have to be prepared when I step into do an interview. I'll never not be prepared to talk to somebody. And even after the interview, you know, I was like, yo, I'm sorry. I was like nervous. She was like, it's okay. You just be prepared next time. I said, yeah, I apologize for that. I
Cool
just
beans.
ready. But I've done some cool interviews. You know, I've done, I did interview Clinton, President Clinton. I've done Nelson Mandela, who else? Jesse Jackson, you know, the hip hop and the R&B artists, you know, all of them were great. I remember I interviewed Luther. That was good. Luther Vandross. That was kind of dope. Yeah.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered everybody here, sir. But I'm gonna tell you like this: we're just super and extremely appreciative of the fact that you've been here and you're sharing and dropping these jewels on us, dropping about the history and you know, and video music box, you know, telling it coming straight from you about where it was and how it came about, and also because, like Joe said, a lot of people thought Yo MT Raps was the first joint, you know, and of course, even though you went back and you brought up New York Hot Tracks, you know, and that was a memory in itself, you know.
Yep.
So,
Yep. New
so
York Contracts was really the first because
yes.
they came on. We were trying to get on, but nobody was buying what I was selling,
Mm-hmm.
and that helped everybody once New York Hot Tracks came on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
I think it just seemed like everybody started gravitating to video music box because of just how it was run and just the versatility of it, and
Yeah.
just the way you presented the presentation and everything was there for it. So it definitely made a big difference.
Well, I think with New York Hot Tracks, when I always tell people when they messed up is when they took Carlos De Jesus off.
Mm.
He was a great host. You know, he was from the radio. He was knowledgeable. He was in the clubs, you know, and they started using like people from the soap operas to host the show.
Ah.
I was like, oh, they messed up now. Got
Got 'em. Well, this has truly been a pleasure, and as we have learned quite a bit, and I've taken lots of notes on everything that you've been talking about. And what I really like and I enjoy, and from all your interviews that I've seen you do, and just the way you just interact with everyone, and that you really are accessible. You make yourself accessible. You make yourself available. You're not one of these that at your level of stardom, at your level of just being as legendary as you are, people can
Yeah.
still come up and not be fearful of you. You know, you have
Yeah.
that thing where people you have that energy where people just feel comfortable. So I really enjoy that from what I see. And just speaking to you here, you know, I really enjoy it. And hopefully one day we'll get a chance to meet. We were hoping that the DJ Expo was going to happen this year, of course, but we just got word it was shifted from August, and then they shifted it to November, and about 2 weeks ago, we got word that it was canceled. 2 or 3 weeks ago, that it was
Oh,
canceled. So it's not happening this year at all. As a matter of fact, they just started prepping for it to be for 2021. I think they said something about going to the Hard Rock Cafe or something like that.
okay.
I forget where it's going to be, but you know, all in all, that was really one of the things that a lot of us was really looking forward to, you know, to see
Yeah.
people there, you know, and just everyone would be there. But I guess we got to wait another year to see what's going to happen because this pandemic has really messed up a lot of stuff for us.
Yeah.
So Mike L just sent me a thing. He says he has one more questions. Can you take another question?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, hold on, Mike L. Go ahead, Mike L. Mike L, you still here? Unmute yourself, Mike L. Okay, maybe he dropped out. So again, sir, this has been great. And then as we get towards the end of the end of this conversation, I always ask this one question, and that question is, what homework do you have for us?
Wow. Go listen to another DJ that you don't know that you never listened to this week.
Cool beans.
I try to listen to DJs that I see are they have a following, and I've never listened to them before, and I want to hear what they're playing, especially if it's a genre that I don't really play a lot of music at in that particular genre. So
That's
I
a
would,
good one.
yeah,
That's a good one because sometimes we get comfortable with like, oh, that's my homie, so I'm gonna go listen to him or listen to her
yeah,
instead of something new. So just to expand the horizons a little bit. So definitely, that's a good one there.
yeah.
Sure. So what's next for you?
Well, what's super important right now and what we're in the middle of is doing the video music box collection. So that's why I spend hours and hours and hours doing digitizing tapes. And I'll give you all an idea of what we're working with so you can see it. Hold on a second. Hopefully I don't lose a signal here. I'm in the studio. I can show you. So this is part of it.
Whoa.
These are all videotapes
Wow.
of some of our footage that we shot. Some of them are music videos. All of these are on analog tapes. So we want to transfer all of this stuff to files, to MP3, to MP4s. So, or bigger. So that's what we're doing. So these are like back in the days, we used to play big tapes like this.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is a tape here. These are like all the Big Puns videos. I'm not a player, still not a player. Twins, you came up, I'm so hard. All of those on this tape, at a high quality. So we want to take it to a high quality file, and that's what the Music Box collection does. That's what people's donations do. Um, we have other stuff like like my content, stuff that I shot that are and that could be like anything, hold on. Okay, here's the interview I did with Stevie Wonder, you know, in the early 2000s. Like,
Got
that was a big deal for me, Stevie Wonder. So, all of this stuff is on tape, and we want to put it at a really high res file and then have it available so people can, watch it and we can present it, we can create documentaries from it and all kind of stuff like that. And quite obviously, there's a lot of tapes here, so it would take me a long time to do that on my own. so that's what we're working on, and so I spend a lot of time doing that, and that's it, man. Like that's what we're doing right now.
So I'm just curious about this. Like for example, those tapes, the conversion process, um, and I some of that's just in some that you've done. What has been the average size of the file once it is completed?
It could be like according to how like a hour show. Could
Yes.
be
Or is it, because usually we look at an hour show. If it's at high res, you're probably looking at like 1 gig. But in terms of
no
what have you been seeing when you're doing
audio
the conversion?
in video or audio.
Video. If you're doing an MP3, MP4.
No, this is at a high at the highest quality. It's at 10 gigs an hour.
Wow.
So
Okay.
like we don't want to do it over. We want to do it one time, and so that we have it, and that you know we have it at the highest quality. So we're doing it everything at the highest it could possibly be. Like I started working on this really when we shot the Wu. Well, I didn't shoot Wu Tang. I was in the Wu Tang Clan's video. So I mean the documentary of Mics and Men, and my boy directed that, Sasha Jenkins. If you see it, it's still on Showtime demand.
Mhm.
And in the second episode, I'm sitting in the middle of all of those tapes talking about the videos that I did for Wu Tang, and then we were like, we got to get this collection done, Ralph. So I was like, yeah, I know, but it's gonna cost a lot of money to do this. So we started reaching out to people. We got a couple of donations, and we was like, all right, we in it. Let's do it. And so that's what we've been doing since we had to do it as a nonprofit so people could get a write off for donating to us. And we got our nonprofit status in January. We started doing stuff, and then COVID hit. So that slowed us down because all the facilities were closed. So, but now we're back up, and we've been doing it since June. Yeah.
Gotcha. And again, they can make donations through uh, Video Box,
Video music box.
Video Music Box Collection.org.
Yes. Musicboxcollection.org.
Okay.
Yep. And now I got a bunch of hard drives instead of tapes.
Cool
You know?
beans. Cool beans. Well, this has been truly great, and I'm glad you actually shared that piece as well. And actually, so we see, because actually on the website they got a snapshot of all those tapes, but that one section, that one snapshot is just it doesn't put it into perspective until you walk in the room like you just did and really see what's going on. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yes, yes, my God. Definitely continue your work, and we salute you on everything that you do. We thank you for doing what you did to start the whole thing back in the day, get people really interested in it and moving forward. We're glad to know that you guys are still doing something in New York. Hopefully, we'll be able to somehow catch it on YouTube or somewhere.
Yeah.
Just going back because I was watching one that you did, the LSG and Curious,
Oh,
LSG with LL and Bustin and MC
yeah.
Light and all them. So I saw that one too, and I was like, yeah, that took me back. So uh,
Yeah. We do it live on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram at Video Music Box, um, on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Actually, there are past shows on there now. But on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 9:30, we're live.
okay,
We go live and we play videos, and people come in, and some of the artists get on the live and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
cool beans. Well, we won't take up any more of your time, sir. It's just been really good to have you here, and I just have to say that we respect you and we enjoyed you. And it's just been great to learn more about you and everything that you have done, the things that you are doing. And we will definitely do our best to help. Here in the DJ Information Group, we believe in when we say we're down to help you, we really mean it. Your family, so feel free to pop in anytime. And if there's anything that we can ever do for you, you just let us know.
Yeah.
Me looking at that, I was sitting there going, man, if I was near you, I'd be like, all right, check it out. Let's go in here and let's try to work on some of these things. Because I've done some of that work as a technology specialist myself. You
Okay,
know, Yeah, so I know, and I've done it. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I was just being conservative by the 1 gig because I didn't think that you were really taking it ultra high res, but evidently you are at 10 gigs for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that definitely helps when you're trying to chop it down even more. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely understand all of that. But this has been great. And you know, what I'll do is I'll close it out like this, and I'll say we've definitely had a treat. We've definitely learned a lot. This man has come in here and he's just really sprinkled some real knowledge on us about the history of how things started. Of course, there was one before him, but they couldn't hang with him once they made a change. And he stepped in and he did what he had to do to bring us the most one of the most powerful video shows out on the market. And that takes us back to our childhood. And this is a legend, and we salute you, sir. DJ Ralph McDaniels. Thank you, man. Thank you.
You,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, indeed.
I'm a DJ at heart, so I got it.
Cool beans, man. Well, we really appreciate you. And anytime that, like I say, you want to hop in, we'll definitely do that. We'll send you an invite to the group. If and that way you can, you
I
know,
just I
find out
just
what we're
did that.
going on. Okay, good. And find out everything that we're doing. And from that, boom, we will definitely stay in touch. And like I say, if there's anything that we can do, please let us know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you.
But I think what we can do as a
Thank you,
group
sir.
is donate to videomusic.org. As a group, we can send one donation, and we can, yeah, I mean, whatever
Absolutely.
you have, is how big, how small, whatever we could donate, it will help.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Like you just said, whatever it is going directly into paying for these these damn files getting done. So thank you so much, man.
No problem.
We will definitely make it happen, sir, for sure.
All right, y'all. Thank you, and y'all have a great night, great week too.
You too.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
You
Yeah.
too.
Same to you. Likewise.
All right.
All right. Bye bye.